Okay, Christopher again, creator of the PROX Bars. I'm going to make an announcement here after talking with Kyle, who is the owner and runs the new website trendscalping.com. Kyle and I theorized, and then I worked with the programmer and was able to get these PROX Bars built. Originally, my main thought was I told Kyle, okay, you can use the PROX Bars for whatever you want. I'm going to be using them in my own trading, but if you're going to be using them for a website or service, I want the code protected. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. I don't want the code to get out. You know, I've spent over 8 years tracking cumulative delta and paying attention to transaction level analysis, and for the first time ever, I've taken all that experience, all the different concepts I've looked at in testing, and put it into price bars where all the various data that's critical on a transaction level analysis basis, tick by tick, you know, at the sub-second level, is within the color coding of a simplistic visual tool we call the PROX Bars. So when things are in alignment, perfectly in alignment, in the order flow, the resistance in the order book, where price is and all that, the 4 inputs that we've used, we have color coding then in the price bars that represent when things are perfectly in alignment and when they're not. So initially Kyle set this up as a broadcasting service, and we thought that might be an option since we didn't see a viable way of protecting the code within Marketdelta.com or Investor RT. That's the only 2 platforms this runs in at this time. We may have it set in other platforms going forward as I do work. Right now we're just finalizing and have finalized the PROX Bar capabilities within these 2 charting options. So after watching Kyle's pre-launch of the broadcasted PROX Bar service, and after Kyle and I have been going back and forth with what we thought was going to be a way to allow traders to take these PROX Bars, put them on their own charts, and have the code protected so, you know, nobody be able to see the code, and then, you know, 2 weeks later the code's everywhere. Well, we thought we had a solution to that, and that seems to have fallen all apart, and I'm really not all that confident we could ever properly protect this, at least in the platforms currently offered. And it's kind of funny, this goes against the grain. I tend to be an open source guy, meaning if I build something and develop it, I like to just put it out to the public and see what happens. Because I'm of the thought that if, you know, 10, 20, 30 people look at something, they might come up with other versions of it that are better than the version that you came up with through a, you know, different background experience and programming capabilities. So one day I was watching the PROX Bar broadcasting service the other day, and I just said, hey, I don't like this. I just think this is not the way to do this. Talked to Kyle. I said, you know, to be fully honest, I think this broadcasting service sucks. And I think it's a dumb way to go forward with it. Now that it's been out and I see it, I don't like it. You know, I'm just trying to be honest. So, and Kyle kind of agreed. He thought, we thought in the beginning it might work out okay for him to use trend scalping. And since then, after seeing it presented that way, we don't like it. We've been working with programmer and working with the means to protect this information, and initially it was looking favorable, and now it's not. So it's decision time. What do we do? And I kind of told Kyle, I said, hey, you know what? Screw it. Let's put the PROX Bars out to the public. I mean, you put them out with trend scalping. Limit the amount of people that have access to it, and just give them the code. Let's go open source and let's see what happens. I have found several very, very, very high probability setups that I'm using now with the PROX Bars. So almost all of my intraday trading is shifted to using PROX Bars. So I'm perfectly content with what I built with PROX Bars for my own personal use. And I'm going to be going forward doing that. I'm going to ramp up my personal trading with actually 3 various setups that I found using the PROX Bars. One thing I will say, that PROX Bars, we're going to let them go out to a limited group. You're going to have the code, you can tinker with them, you can put other indicators on your charts, whatever you want. The key is you're going to have all of our PROX Bar code. You're going to be able to do whatever you want with it, tweak it, tinker it, adjust it to your own liking. And what we're hoping is, in time, Kyle and the programmer running the trend scalping website going forward will be able to at least get some feedback from that group and maybe find ways of making the PROX Bars even better, and then passing that information out to everybody. So I'm going to go nuts here, and I told Kyle, I said, go for it, just let him go, because I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about that if 20 or 30 people have the PROX Bar code and it starts showing up everywhere. I'm not worried that anybody's going to be competing with me for my personal trading setups. And so I'm content with what I've built for my own use, and I've just given okay to Kyle since I created these. I said, go for it, let him go, and have at it, So Kyle is going to be presenting information, and if you want to find out about this, send an email if you'd like to be one of the limited group that will be able to buy the PROX Bars and have them for lifetime, have the code and all our current settings and the benchmarking that I've done for all these various instruments, futures instruments. Have at it. Contact Kyle at info@trendscalping.com. That's Kyle's business and website. We really talked about it. I don't like running websites. Kyle has decided he doesn't want to get involved with a real intense growing website with some new commitments that he has coming up that are actually very kind of cool. He has some good positive developments in his family. So anyhow, I've just released FulcrumTrader.com to Traders Help Desk. So Traders Help Desk is taking over the Fulcrum Trader site. I've just now given my okay for my input, since I helped create these bars with the programmer. I told Kyle to go for it. Let him go, have fun with it, see what happens. Any good feedback you get, please pass along so I can see if people are finding other additional ways of using this information. I found 3 very good setups I'll be using for my own trading, so I'm ecstatic. The development of the PROX Bars has really helped me have a more simplistic visual way of identifying exact entry points, and so I'm going to be using the PROX Bars almost exclusively in my own intraday trading. I'm getting out of the website, day-to-day running and operations game, and transitioning just to building more content and ramping up my own personal trading with these new setups. So anyhow, contact Kyle. So this is big news. We're going to let Trend Scalping PROX Bars go out to a small group, limited group, initially maybe in the first week or 2, and let it go open source. We are hoping that there'll be an honor system here, and that the group that gets the PROX Bars exclusively will not be putting the code all over on every website. And I'm sure Kyle will detail that in the offer that he will be presenting. I think the price will be extremely fair for all the time, headache, and head scratching that's gone into these things. But all in all, we're going to let you guys have it. So trendscalping.com, new PROX Bars are going to be available to you on your own charts, and you'll have the code. I don't think you can really beat that offer. So again, contact Kyle at info@trendscalping.com for details. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.